Welcome back to Spotlight. I'm here with three of some very important persons in the maritime industry. Right? I want to introduce Captain Balla first, because Captain Balla is here with us in the BVI as the director of the shipping registry. Yes, welcome to Spotlight.
Thank you very much.
Yes, and since John, since John's from here, he gets introduced last. He's a host. But I also would like to introduce and welcome Captain Vinil Gupta, Managing Director of Glasgow Maritime Academy. Welcome to Spotlight.
Thank you.
Good to have you. And Director of Jocelyn
Maritime
Training and Consultants Limited, John Samuel. Welcome to Spotlight.
Thank you.
Now, we get confused a lot between marine sector and maritime sector. So that's the first thing I want to clear up, because I myself got confused and was thinking marine sector. And I think when we were on the basketball court, you had me to know that this is a maritime sector. So let's clear that up, John, for our audience.
Yes, formally, from a professional perspective, matters related to shipping, service jobs in the shipping industry, called maritime. It's called the maritime sector. In the BVI, we loosely use the term marine sector to cover a broad range of things. Sometimes that spills into some of the sciences and conservation issues and all that type of thing. But when we talk about maritime careers and maritime functions, we're talking about professional function, jobs aboard ships, management of ships, and all that goes into keeping shipping going and the functions of shipping.
Okay, so that's clear. So we're talking about the careers. Now, and we could chime in at any time. What when you talk about careers in the maritime industry, what are we talking about?
Well, just to offer a bit of backdrop, being in the BVI with a maritime background and serving in various capacities in the BVI, I noted that in the BVI, all marine or maritime operators or careers in the maritime sector might be limited because of lack of access to or exposure to the possibilities and the training associated with those jobs and the training required to move to a different level in the maritime sphere. And the reality is that there are a lot of jobs internationally in the maritime field that BVI landers can consider as career options and can pursue for their career.
And what are we talking about? Captains, boat drivers, stewards on ships. What are we talking about?
There are various jobs available. You can start off with maybe being a steward on board, start their career as a deck cadet, then work their way up as officers and go up to the captain. They can be engineers on board. They can be entertainers on board. Other thing, apart from being on ship, there can be support services like working in the port, doing ship channeling or providing services to repairs and stuff.
So maintenance and repair, all of those,
everything.
Anything to do with boats and
Yes.
ships, that's considered the maritime industry.
The field is quite wide. So, for example, if you take the cruise ships that are coming here,
Yes.
it's run like a hotel industry. And you have entertainers, you have shops, you have gymnasiums, you have photographers, everything. And these are all jobs. And all the companies they are seeking, suppose these ships are operating in the Caribbean, they will find it much easier to recruit crew from the Caribbean because they don't have to pay so much airfares they can save on. So the point which Mr. Samuel was making was that we need to have that kind of quality education and training so that the young persons on the Virgin Island can take advantage of the opportunities that are available to them internationally.
Okay. And John, that's what Jocelyn Maritime Training and Consultants is attempting to do, build capacity in the BVI to take advantage of maritime opportunities.
Yes, we're
wherever they
attempting
exist.
to increase awareness that there are career possibilities out there, there are job opportunities offshore, and we already have a few young men who have gone down that route and are actually working at sea now in the engineering and navigation sectors.
But
So
I think they have to go abroad to finish off. They can't do
Yes.
anything here.
yes, so we want to increase awareness, and then we want to improve the accessibility to the training required to get them into the maritime jobs and into the maritime functions. You know, so
Does everyone have to have a basic level of training,
Yes.
regardless of what field, what you want to get into on the ship?
Yes.
There's a basic level.
That's what we're going to start in BVI, what is called basic safety training, and that requires a bit of infrastructure. So we, along with John here, we're trying to build that up.
Okay. And now you are the director of the Glasgow Maritime
Yeah.
Academy.
Yes.
That's Glasgow
In Scotland.
in Scotland.
Yes.
Okay. And so, and what types of training does your school?
We provide all sort of training for all sort of nationalities. UK is very famous for providing credible maritime training, and we get students from all across the world. We deliver around 50 approved training, catering to all sort of ranks on ships. We want to bring that to BVI, and eventually people can start training here rather than going abroad. Captain Bala was mentioning about ship owners trying to recruit locally. The reason for that is a ship owner only makes 7% profit annually, and if he has to recruit somebody from, let's say, Southeast Asia, the travel costs, everything adds up. Whereas if seafarers are available in BVI, a Caribbean company would hire from BVI. I was teaching a couple of students locally, and they were telling me that they have some deckhands from Southeast Asia over here, and I was surprised why all the way somebody has to come from Southeast Asia to work here when people can locally work in a local ferry company, because obviously there is no training, no seafarers here.
Okay. Now we have a yacht, internationally acclaimed yachting industry.
Yes.
How does this fit in? How does our yachting industry fit in to the maritime training, and how is that relationship?
Well, I think that one of the things that I would like the community to appreciate is that the yachting sector and the qualifications required for the yachting sector is not the limit of the potential that's out there in terms of jobs, in terms of careers. In the Caribbean region, if we as Caribbean people have access to the training necessary to move to the next level, we can have people in the Caribbean looking beyond the yachting sector. There's a big mega yacht sector. There's cargo ships, there are cruise ships, and there's nothing preventing us from getting into that. And that's one of the reasons why I sought to, as Captain Gupta said, to try and bring credible training and pair that training with the BVI flag and help the BVI to move to the next level, because once we get Virgin Islands Shipping, once we can support Virgin Islands Shipping Registry with credible training, then Virgin Islands Shipping Registry with Captain Bala can then move to the next level in terms of issuing
licenses locally
beyond the level that we do now. And that opens up opportunities for not just residents in the BVI or BVI landers, but in the region as a whole.
I would like to add on regarding the yachting. The yachts these days are getting bigger and bigger. You might find that maybe in the marina you have small yachts, but slowly the yachts are getting bigger and bigger, and the rules for working on them is same as working on a commercial vessel. So even though you're working on a yacht, you should have the basic same certification you need to work on a commercial vessel, and better prepare for it now rather than later.
So the training that you're planning to provide, will be able to be used in the local industry.
Yes.
And the person who wants to take advantage of an opportunity on a higher level further afield, on a bigger boat, a different ship, will have that qualification as well.
Yes.
'Cause
We're trying to create a foundation that's not limited.
Because one of the complaints that we have is that our local, particularly young men,
Yes.
are not being hired or not being able to take advantage of the opportunities that exist in such a lucrative sector of our tourism industry.
Yes.
And so is this what this is about?
Yeah. The one more point here is where Mr. Samuel was talking about where the Virgin Island Shipping Registry fits in is we ensure that the quality standards are maintained in the training establishment. The courses that they are offering are of international standards, and also we monitor them and we make sure that the syllabus and the content agrees with what the mandate is internationally. So we are looking to make the training providers here to such a standard that we become a center of excellence in the Caribbean, where we offer high quality maritime training.
So students from around the region will be coming to the Virgin Islands to get that international qualification.
True,
Yes.
true. That's the aim.
The aim.
That's the
objective,
goal.
Yes.
Okay.
I was speaking to a couple of students who are from BVI, and I asked them where did they do their basic safety training, and the nearest place they can go is Florida. There's nothing available in around this region.
Okay. And the academy is qualified
Yes.
to give that certificate. So that certificate will be coming through your academy.
Well, approved by Virgin Island Ship Registry. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now, how many you got students already that you have
This
classes
week-
already?
Yes, this week we're running 3 courses. One is called HELM.
HELM?
HELM. Acronym.
Human element leadership and management course.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. You don't talk.
And we also running crisis management and
Crowd
crowd control, crowd management.
Okay.
And these are some courses that are already required for crew or captains operating on certain type of passenger vessels. So there was a challenge in the industry here because they would have to go overseas to get the training. And so based on demand and some of the requests from the ferry companies, I chose to try and fill that void initially as the
So that's your immediate.
that's the immediate. So that's what we're doing this week.
Right now.
Yeah, that's what
Okay.
we're doing this week.
So the guys that are working on the ferry services, for example,
Yes.
needs to have this type of
Yes.
information, need to be certified.
They need to be certified in order to be able to work on the vessel.
Okay. And I want to make it more understandable to people like me, who don't have a clue what
Yeah.
you're talking about.
Yes.
So a person working, we see the guys working, we go into St. Thomas,
Yes.
and we see the guy working on the boat, and he's picking up the luggage, and he's packing stuff away, and he's docking the boat and pulling up the rope and putting over the fenders and all that stuff, right? It looks like anybody could do that.
He's not just a guy off the street. He is now a mariner. He has some basic qualification to be able to serve on that vessel. He has to have, captain and crew have to have basic safety training.
Okay. And the only way that ferry boat, Smith Ferry, Tortola Fast Ferry, Rotown Fast Ferry, Native Son, the only way they could get licensed to operate in the Virgin Islands, they got to get that license from Captain Balla.
The Virgin Island Shipping Registry, I would say. The Virgin Island Shipping Registry licenses the boat itself and also licenses the crew. So the crew have to have certain standards of qualification. Suppose there is a fire on board the boat, they should know how to handle it, what to do with the crew. So you don't realize that the person who is picking up your luggage is also the person who is going to tell you what to do in case of a danger on board the vessel.
So he's going to help you get off, be safe in case of a fire or whatever problems the boat might be facing,
Yeah.
rough seas.
Yeah.
So he has
Any
to,
emergency.
So he has to know that, and
He's trained.
He's
he's
trained.
trained.
He's
So
trained.
all those guys
to
are
hand-
trained.
Yes,
Trained.
to handle that
And
situation.
unless he's trained, the boat cannot operate.
Unless he's trained, he cannot be engaged as crew.
On board the
On
vessel.
board the vessel.
That's a law in the Virgin Islands.
It's for each vessel or class of vessel, there are various standards of certification required for the crew operating on that vessel. So, for example, if you're a crew on a tanker, there's certain training courses that you would have had to take in order to serve as crew on that tanker, in relation to handling petroleum products, etc. If you're working on a passenger vessel, there are certain courses that you have to take to be able to work on a passenger vessel. And these are standards that are mandated internationally under international conventions. And the flag state where the vessel is registered is responsible for verifying and maintaining those standards aboard those vessels.
And so our young men that we see on the boats, they meet our standards.
They have to.
They have to meet our standards. But you're saying that there is a standard that they can meet where they not only can allowed to operate in the BVI, but they will be allowed to operate any place else in the world.
True.
Yes.
Very true.
Okay. So our standards then is not as on a level of international standards.
No, not that way. I think you are. What we are talking about is the training that is being given here is the same standard as for internationally. The same standard. The standard is equal, but what is the level of training? The level. If you just do basic training, then you can do that kind of jobs only. If you do advanced training, then you can do a higher job.
Okay.
And right now, the provision for advanced training is not there. And that is what these gentlemen
That's
are
what they're
trying
trying
to make.
to
Okay, so you have the basic training, you're meeting international standards, but if you want to go higher,
Yes.
you need to get,
Yes.
you need to go to a level that could springboard you into any area you want to get into.
Exactly.
You know, if we put it in layman's terms, for example, a lot of what we see are ferries. So you have a ferry is a passenger vessel, but a ferry is a passenger vessel at a particular level because of its size.
Passengers it
the number
carries.
of passengers, the area it operates in.
Operates
Right. So the certification required to operate that ferry vessel is different to the certification required to operate a small cruise ship, for example. Although both are passenger vessels.
Yes.
So now we have quite a few people who are certified to operate passenger vessels. The only thing that's missing from offering them the opportunity to be able to move up the scale and maybe one day be a captain on a cruise ship is provision of the requisite training, the certification necessary, and for them to satisfactorily meet the requirements.
Okay. So has that training been already established with
training
is it established under Jocelyn Maritime Training?
That training is currently available in many places in the world. Glasgow Maritime Academy offers that level training in the UK. And what I'm attempting to do now is to partner with a training provider that can offer that type of training and bring that training onshore to the
In the
BVI to make it available. And once we work together and we work with the BVI flag to certify the training and approve the training, then we get a combination that we can offer to nationals in the region to move them to a different level in shipping.
Now, how expensive is this training? What does it cost? How do you enroll? How do you select persons for the academy for the training?
The cost of training courses vary. It depends on the duration of the course, the complexity of the course, and what it takes to facilitate the training. For example, we're beginning to look at basic safety training, and one component of that is fire training. And you need certain minimum requirements to offer fire training, because you have to, in the training process, you have to create live fires, live scenarios with fires, and have
You have
this.
to put fire simulators.
Yes.
Okay.
So there's a cost there. So training like that would normally be more expensive than the classroom training, for example, that we're doing today.
Are you planning to bring that training here as well?
Yes.
Yes.
We are
In the
actually
future.
going to start with fire training and basic safety training.
So is there an area already designated for the classroom, for all the equipment that you're going to need? I mean, how far along are you in this process?
It's planning stage.
Okay. And- Okay, cool. So how do you apply? How do you apply to the
Well,
school?
what we've done with the first batch of students is we sort of polled the industry to see what the requirement was, and then we advertised locally, online, in the newspaper, on Facebook, and with the ferry operators, and we got very good support from the ferry operators because it was a need that they had as well, you know, and the support, the response, the enrollment has been good. But the plan going forward is to do the same thing. We develop the course, we schedule it, and then we market and advertise it, and we get the word out. And then over the years, I get a lot of young men approaching me because they have interest in maritime careers, but they're not quite sure how to go forward. And we hope to be able to offer some pathways for them to be able to move forward.
Okay.
Can I add in this that
Yes.
Virgin Island Shipping Registry, we are very keen on promoting local talents. We want them to reach the higher levels of maritime work that they do on board the ships. And if anybody who wants any kind of advice or any kind of guidance on this matter, we'll be very, very happy to accommodate them and show them the way and what they need to do and what are all the qualifications required, etc. We'll be very happy to entertain all those queries with us.
Okay. You were going to say, Captain Gupta?
What I was saying that at the moment we provide training to people who are already in the industry. But once we have the basic setup like the fire grounds and swimming pools and stuff, then we'll be able to offer the basic safety training for somebody who has just left school and he's looking for a new career opportunity. So he can come to Jocelyn Maritime and do a basic safety training, and then he can start working on local ferries or yachts,
Yachts,
and that will be the stepping stone for him to go
And
further.
he could get advanced
Yes.
training, and then he could
Yes.
get a job on a cruise ship.
Yes.
He could go as
Then he
far
could
as he
worldwide.
wants
Yes.
in the industry.
That is the plan.
That's cool. We're going to take a break
Okay.
for a word from our sponsors, and we're going to come right back with more about the maritime industry, and we're going to talk about what kind of personality you have to have in order to be in the maritime industry. Keep it locked right at the spotlight. We'll be right back after these words from our sponsors.
Spotlight is brought to you by CCTBVI, Life Unlimited, and the National Bank of the Virgin Islands, the official Bank of Paradise.
Welcome back to Spotlight. We left off talking about the maritime industry and what it takes to move to the next level, you know, to get a career in the maritime industry, and the basic training and the advanced training so you could work anywhere in the world. I think it's going to be a big opportunity for,
Yes.
the people, particularly young men of the Virgin Islands.
And women,
And yeah, it's true.
yes.
Do you find a lot of women? Well,
Internationally.
on the cruise ships, for example, you have a lot of women working on the cruise ships, doing a host of a variety of jobs.
We had a career day at the school, EHS, Elmer Stout, and VSA was there along with another company, local company, offering jobs. And there was a lot of interest from the girls from the high school, you know, and they were really curious to learn about the kind of jobs that are available. So that kind of bodes well for the Virgin Islands.
Yeah, I would say. Now, you know, I've been on a couple of cruises, and so, you know, you talk to the employees on the ship sometimes, and you know, you ask them where they're from and you know how long they stay on the ship, and you know, some of them from the Philippines, they from all around the world, and they're away from their families. Sometimes they have children, wife and children back home, and they're away from their families for months at a time.
Yes.
Because sometimes it's like sometimes a season of business.
Yes.
So it seems to me that you have to have a certain kind of mindset
Yes.
to get in the maritime industry. I mean, if we talk about the mindset, would we just be discouraging people? Is it such a harsh psychological job that
I think
that
it's a discussion.
most people can't manage?
It's a discussion that has to be engaged upfront, because the reality is that a career at sea will take you away from home for months at a time, and I think typically you find two types of personalities that go to sea. One is of necessity, because maybe the opportunity is better than what's at home, and the other is people who just love.
Like to be on the sea.
They love the sea. They love
Adventure.
the ocean. Yeah, so
Different port every so often.
not only that, but
people.
it's a dynamic job.
Okay.
Every day on the ship is a different day. It's different weather. It's a different experience.
Totally different to 9 to 5 office job.
Yes. Yes. So I think those are the two
So you have
types
to
of-
you have to like adventure.
You either have to like adventure or you have to do it for financial or economic reasons. I think that's one of the two categories most people would fall into. But you have to understand up front and accept that this is a career that takes me away from home for months at a time. But a rewarding career nonetheless, especially if you love ships, if you love the ocean. And then you become special. You become a member of an elite, special group of people that that we're not normal. We're better than normal. and we deserve it.
The seafarers.
The seafarers.
We become a member of the Seafarers Club, the Mariners
and
Club, right?
seafarers of the world move most of the world's cargo. Without us, nothing happens.
90% of your household good comes by sea.
Okay.
Everything, 90%. Well, in the BVI,
Yeah.
probably better than.
I mean, I'm talking worldwide.
Yeah.
Worldwide, yeah.
90% of your household is actually shipped by sea.
So all the stuff that come from China come
If
on
there
a
are
tanker.
if there are no seafarers,
Freedom.
if there are no seafarers, 90%
no products.
there will be no products in your home.
Including food products.
Food products.
Including food products.
Yeah.
When you see some of the big ships that move grain and corn, really big ships. It's,
Yeah. Well, we know from experience, the boat don't come in,
we go hungry.
I would like to add on one point. I mean, we are talking about being at sea or to be away from home. That's not entirely true. If somebody who is homesick doesn't want to go to long months for sea, they have an option of either working locally in the port or maybe work on wind farm vessels where they can come home every night. It doesn't have to be that way that you have to be several months away from sea. Yeah.
That's interesting to talk about. The careers all have different requirements. All the various careers in the shipping industry have different requirements. So you would have to be able to you would select the requirements of a career at sea that fit your personality or your economic or social needs.
Yes.
Right? So
But in addition to that, it must also be clear that if you want to advance to the higher levels of maritime careers, some of you're gonna have to be good in math and physics and especially if you want to get into engineering or even in navigation. So for the young people who are in school who are interested in maritime careers, they need to buckle up now and make sure that they pay attention to their studies. And then once you get to the stage where you're actually ready to move into this, you have to also understand that it takes a tremendous amount of discipline to be a seafarer. Because when a ship leaves port, that ship is self-sufficient at sea. A lot of times immediate help is not
available.
readily available. The captain is the master of the ship, and in order for the ship to function effectively and safely, the crew has to be disciplined. You have to be punctual. You have to respect authority. So it's a rewarding career, but
It's a serious matter.
It's a serious matter, and by the time you get to the higher levels in your maritime career, you know, I know a lot of people know the movie The Officer and The Gentleman. You're reformed.
You go through the rigors.
Yeah, and you're reformed in many ways, you know, and you're a better person.
Yeah, 'cause you're talking about from a cleaner on a ship to the persons that maintain the engines, repair the engines, elevator up,
Yeah, everything.
mechanics,
Computers on board
computer-
now, these
Yeah,
technicians for
technicians.
everything.
I mean, you can't finish. It's just like you're on land.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whatever you need on land for society to function, you need it on a ship for the ship to function. Because the ship, I guess, when the ship gets in the ocean, depends on the size, it becomes an island. It becomes a moving city, so to speak,
True,
right?
true.
Because you look at a cruise ship, it's a big one, giant moving city.
Yes.
You know, food. I mean, maintenance. I mean, everything. So the careers are endless, same as on land, but just on sea.
Yes.
And you would need the same training.
You need the same training, but you have to get to the point where you have to have that additional discipline, respect. You know, you're not. There's no captain that's going to keep you on his vessel if you're disrespectful or if you're not disciplined.
If you're not adhering to the rules.
Exactly, because you get to the point where you're actually endangering the ship and the entire crew. You know.
So they have jails on the ship too. I mean, it sounds like you know, that's something you don't want to say, but it sounds like there's there would have to be discipline. There would have to be some kind of detention center, because just like on land, you could break the law on the ship as well.
Well, when I used to sail, we used to have a handcuff on board. So if somebody is being naughty,
It's still there?
yeah, we just lock up that person against the cabin and restrain them. You know.
Oh, okay. Well, we found out at Tyranny o'clock.
Yes.
Time is run out. But, you know, it was great. I don't know if there's any last word. Any of you want to say something that we didn't get out? You can get a couple seconds to, you know, to...
I would like to encourage, you know, BVI landers who are interested in maritime careers too. As Captain Bala said, he's there at shipping registry. He can offer advice. If they can find me, I can offer advice.
How can they get in touch with you and take the courses? How is that done? Apply and get involved in the training.
Jocelyn Maritime is on Facebook. That's the quickest way, and all my contact details are there. Or they can call 346-7686 and get in contact with us, or contact the shipping registry, and Captain Bala knows how to get in contact with us. But I would encourage them to explore. It can be a very rewarding career, not just personally, but financially as well.
And they could come and meet and sit with you and talk about what, you know, their question, if they have their questions answered,
Yes.
and help to make a decision as to
Help them to make
the
a
way
decision.
forward in the
Yes,
industry.
Yes,
Yes, that's
so,
great. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Gupta. I know Dr. Gupta from Subway, right? Television.
Captain Gupta.
Captain Gupta. And you don't have a title to John?
Johnson.
No. You have bring the cruise ship into the dock.
I'm one of the active pilots in the BVA for quite a few years.
So you don't have like a captain or lieutenant or nothing?
I don't carry the handle.
You don't get
On a regular
okay.
basis now.
All right, brother.
Thank you.
And Captain Bala, thank you for being a guest on
Thank you.
on Spotlight and sharing such important information. And I'm hoping to see big things come from this, because it seems like it's really going to be important for the development of the territory, particularly in the shipping industry and the maritime industry. Yes.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Cool. Well, we had a really interesting and informative program tonight. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for watching. April the 1st, next Saturday, it's going to be the hottest show in the BVI. The Drifters are coming. It's going to be at the Eileen L. Parsons Auditorium. I'm looking forward to it. I'm all anxious and excited about going. Get your tickets at HLSCC, Bella Blooms, and Sunny Caribbean, and make it a night that you won't forget. So that's coming up. Also next week, the spotlight will be shining on the Department of Trade on the upcoming Entrepreneurship Week. Mrs. Carrier Christopher is going to be here. She's Director of Trade, and we're going to be talking about entrepreneurship development in the territory. It's going to be interesting. Of course, we are going to have again our Acting Immigration Officer, Mrs. Geraldine Ritter Freeman. She's going to be talking about the new regulations and rules and laws and procedures developing in the Immigration Department. You certainly will want to hear about that, so don't miss next week's program. Of course, Spotlight is seen every Tuesday here at 8 p.m. on Channel 55. We broadcast Sundays at 2:30. You can watch Spotlight on demand at jtvlive.net. Like our Facebook page, please like our Facebook page, facebook.com/SpotlightBVI. Catch up with your latest spotlights and check for upcoming guests and topics. I'm Ed Juenka, reminding you that when the spotlight is on, you see the facts. Peace and blessings.
Spotlight is brought to you by Tortola Concrete Limited and CTL Home Center, the best products for the lowest prices, period.